Hello trombone players, I'd like to show you how to lubricate your trombone slide. We want our slide to be super slippery and slick. It should move very easily. It shouldn't be hard to move or chunky, okay? Like, we don't want that. So it should be so slick that if I were to let go of the slide, it would just fall off on its own. See, it was just falling by itself, okay? So we wanted to get like that. So how do we get to that point? Well, we need three things. First off, you need just the slide, so we don't need the bell or the mouthpiece. Then you need a paper towel, and you need the Yamaha trombone slide lubricant. Looks like that. That's what I recommend using. Okay, so first things first, trombones. Let's look at the slide, and you'll notice here that there's two parts to the slide. There's the inner slide, and there's the outer slide. Okay, and I want you to notice that on the inner slide portion, that it has a part where the mouthpiece goes into, and then it has the longer part that connects to the trombone bell. Right? Notice that the long part is on the same length here as the spit valve or the water key. Okay, so because what we're going to do is we're going to take the inside of the slide out, and when we put it back together, we need to make sure the long part goes with the water key. You don't want to put it in upside down. Let me show you what upside down will look like. So I pulled it out and I flipped it around. And do you see how this part now does not line up with the top part? Oops, that's wrong. Okay, so if that's the case, I simply pull this inner slide out, turn it around, put it back in. Okay, so make sure that lines up. All right, so how to lubricate the slide? Very simple. First thing you want to do is, once again, just the slide part. Stand up the slide on the rubber tip on the ground. So we're going to stand it up. You're going to stand it on the ground, and then you're going to grab it from the top handle here and actually pull out the inner slide all the way. Now, please be very careful, because if this gets dented or dinged against something, it can mess up your whole slide. So you got to be really careful not to bump it. Okay. Now we're going to take the outer slide and lay it down somewhere very safe, like on a bed or in your case. Okay, don't lay it on the floor because you don't want it to get stepped on. So I'm going to lay it down here somewhere very safe, like on a solid desk is where I'm going to lay it down gently. Okay, next thing what we want to do is grab the paper towel, and we want to get all the old lubrication off the slide. So how do we do that? Is simply we just take the paper towel and wrap it around the inner slide and just pull it and just wipe off the inner stuff. Okay, just wipe it clean. Wipe it clean. All right. Just kind of get it nice and clean. And if you do that, you might get a little bit of gunkies off on the paper towel. Mine's pretty clean, but yours might be a little bit dirtier. Next thing you want to do is you want to grab your Yamaha liquid slide lubricant, okay, and shake it up a little bit. Now make sure you're not using tuning slide grease. Grease is really thick, and the grease is for this part of the trombone, the upper part. We don't want to use grease on this slide because that will make your slide get super sticky, and we don't want to do that. Okay, so make sure it's slide lubricant or slide cream or slide oil. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, now since it's shaken up, we're going to take the cap off. All right, and make sure you're above something that you don't mind getting a few drops on, like maybe above a trash can or above a hard floor. Okay, and this has a little rubber tip on it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn it over and go to about the halfway point of the slide. So not up here by the mouthpiece part, but down here, and get it right, touching the slide, and I'm going to give it a gentle squeeze. I don't want a whole bunch to come out, just a gentle squeeze, and I'm going to put just kind of a layer of cream. Now, if you don't see anything come out, you might need to squeeze a little bit harder. See, my bottle's a little old, so I'm going to have to actually give it a pretty good squeeze. There it goes. And I want to get some of that lubricant to come out. It should look like a snail trail. If you've ever seen like a snail leave its trail on the ground, you kind of just want that slimy trail behind it. Okay, my bottle's not working very well. And then do that on the top slide, and then do that on the bottom slide too, and give it a squeeze if you need to. Some bottles it comes out easy, some bottles it comes out hard, so my bottle is not coming out very well. There you go. And sometimes it helps too if you push the rubber applicator against the slide. That will actually cause it to come out sometimes too. Okay, so once you got some lubrication on there, you don't need a ton, just like a snail trail. Okay, then what you're going to do is grab the outer slide, and you're going to stand the outer slide up on the ground. Okay, now remember to line up the long part with the spit valve. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in one side first. See what I'm doing? I'm going to stand it up, and just bring it down and lower it in. It's easier if you go up and down. Doing it side to side is hard, okay? Lower it in. Move it around, kind of give it a wiggle, kind of spread that lubrication around. And then I take it off and do the other side. Put it in. And once again, it's easiest if you just stand it up on the ground and bring it down to it, okay? And then spread that lubrication around. And once you got that, stand this up on the ground on the tip. Make sure it's in there proper. You get them both lined up and just lower it right in very carefully. If it's hard to get in, just give it a slight gentle wiggle back and forth until it goes in. Once you got in, just move it around, spread it around, and now your slide is clean and lubricated, and it should be super slippery now. Okay? Hope that helps you, trombones. Anytime your slide starts to get a little crunchy or a little hard to move, it's probably time to lubricate your slide. So remember, just take the cover off, wipe it clean, hold the inner slide, put some lubrication on, then put the cover back on, spread it around, and you're good to go. Okay? I hope that helps you guys.